people say that if we eat food, we grow, ma'am. I still don't understand. Like, can you tell me more about it?
What's there in your food?
Ma'am, there are like carbohydrates, proteins, fats,
Nutrients.
vitamins, minerals.
Nutrients, basically nutrients.
Yes, ma'am, nutrients.
Right? There is fat, there is vitamins, there is mineral, there is water. Right? Now, do I take the example of only the blood? I'm just taking the example of blood, right? We know that RBCs are, made in the, what do you say? In the, in the
Bone marrow.
bone marrow, correct? I was not getting that. It is made in the bone marrow, right? But, why is the color of the blood red? Because it has hemoglobin.
It has red blood cells.
Red blood cells, yes. Red blood cells have something called hemoglobin. That's the reason why the color of the blood is red. Just imagine, if you did not have food, what would have happened? So basically, all the minerals that you're having, you're supposed to have banana. So banana has large amount of iron in it. Apple has a large amount of iron in it. So all the iron.
Ma'am, can I ask something?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, is it true that if we eat milk and banana together, it would be a complete diet?
Yes, correct. Milk anyways is considered to be a complete diet once upon a time, but nowadays milk is also adulterated, so you really can't say. But banana is full of carbohydrate and ready-made simple sugar, so milk lacks a little bit of carbohydrate which is compensated by banana. And milk has fat, it has protein, it has vitamin, mineral, water, roughage, everything.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So basically, you get all the iron from the food. Otherwise, how will you prepare all these RBC and the blood? If you did not have iron, those people are known as anemic, anemia. Anemia is a disease.
Yes, ma'am, it happens due to loss of blood.
Loss of blood nahi, when there is no hemoglobin in the blood. No hemoglobin means hemoglobin's main function is to carry oxygen from the lungs to the body. So anybody who has anemia will feel very weak, will not be able to
Ma'am,
breathe
will be very
properly.
pale.
Pale because the red blood cell, the red color is missing. If you look
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
eyes,
Ma'am, if there's no proper color of the blood, then the face would look very pale and not fair and glowing.
very good, very good. Yes, that's because of the reddish color which comes from the RBC, from the iron. Iron is a little reddish. Right? So, Vamika, is that clear? How, food say we get everything?
No, ma'am. My question was about growth.
Yeah, so proteins. Proteins are known as the amino acids. If you break down proteins, there's something called amino acids.
Yes, ma'am, amino acids.
Amino acids, right? So basically, chicken consists of proteins. Proteins consists of amino acids, right? Now, all the cells that we have, each and every cell of our body requires amino acid for its regular function. Yeah, they are the basic building blocks. There's something called a nucleus. There are, more than 10 to 12 cell organelles inside each cell, right? And I'm just telling about how a new cell happens. For example, the nucleus that is there, which is known as the powerhouse of the cell, which is actually like the brain of the cell, right? At some point in time, maybe after the cell is a month old, for example, right? So this nucleus divides into two. For example, I'm just taking this. This nucleus divides into two halves like this, right? And then, the cell also divides like this. And this is how, the division from one cell to two cell happens. And then after a few weeks, two cells come out like this. So how did this happen? Because of amino acids, the protein that you had. Cell division, this is known as cell division. This is basically growing because on one hand, your cell is growing and on one hand, the cell is dying. For example, you fell down and you scratched your knees. the entire, the line of cells have got all ruptured. All cell death has happened. But on one hand, there are new cells that are coming up. So that is good news. So these cells will be replaced here.
Ma'am, but how much time does that happen in? Like how, if like the cells are finished because we scratch
No,
that?
this is a constant thing. It is happening while you're talking to me. Every single second there is cell division and cell death, cell growth that is happening.
Yes.
Every second this is happening. This is an ongoing process.
Ma'am, can I also give another example for the reproduction of cell and
Yeah,
death of
sure.
cell?
Okay.
Ma'am, like in the nails, our nails that we have, they are actually made up of dead cells, and
Uh-huh.
as soon as the dead cells in our finger get increases, the nail grow bigger as the new cells are born and push the dead cells that makes the
Forward.
nail grow.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So that is how actually, the cell growth happens. That is how, from how a tiny baby, a man comes out. This is just a 1-month-old baby and this is a 10-year-old boy. How did he grow? Because during this stage, they say now when you're a child, you need to have a lot of protein. Only then you will pick up height. Because his cells are growing at a rapid, enormous state. After 16 years, the growth will be the same. He will not grow in height. He will just put on weight. But the height will remain the same. But 1 year to 10
Ma'am,
years,
so
the
mostly all of us are 10-year-olds. So ma'am, our height will not grow.
your height will grow. It will grow even beyond 10 years. So it depends actually, till maybe 16 years. 16 years, I think so. Till 16 years, it depends from person to person, it will grow. It's not that, it stops at 8, it stops at 10, my mistake. It can, height, there's a growth in height till 16 years. There are some who also grow at 18, but beyond that, no. Right? So is this clear? We discussed a lot about nutrition, cell division, cell growth, cell death, repair of damage. When somebody has, for example, typhoid, right? Or maybe when somebody has COVID, right? So there's a lot of cell death. There's a lot of damage of cells that has happened. So why
Ma'am,
do
is
you think,
typhoid fatal?
sorry, typhoid is?
Is typhoid fatal?
It used to be fatal, but it isn't fatal anymore. No, it isn't. It isn't fatal anymore. So basically, the doctor would suggest that have a lot of protein, have a lot of chicken soup, have a lot of vitamins, have a lot of fruits. Why? Because so much of cell death and damage has happened. Now a lot of cell repair and new cells have to grow. That's the reason we need to have so much of food. The doctor will give a lot of multivitamin syrup. The doctor will give an iron syrup. Why? Because if your food is not sufficient enough, then you need medicines to pump up more nutrients to the cells. And they're easily digestible, easily absorbable. Yeah, they help to produce new cells. They help to repair the cells. Do you understand how important food is for our growth and repair of cells? At the end of the day, human beings are all but cells. We are all made out of different kinds of cells. So each and every cell requires nutrition. And if you have junk food, it has no nutrition. You will only put on weight. The cells will be malnourished. The cells are asking for more of protein. The cells are asking for more of vitamins, more of minerals. But what are you giving? You're giving fat. Low, charbi khao. And what are the cells becoming? The cells are becoming fat. And inside the cell organelles are becoming all malnourished.
Ma'am, so like from like 1 to 16, if we have a lot of fats, then like ma'am, some people say that if you have fats in this period, then ma'am, you wouldn't uh, like become that fat because it also helps in growth. A little bit of it.
See, basically, it depends. In childhood, still fat is not considered to be fat unless and until some child is obese. It all boils down to food habit. What is the food habit? If the person has a lot of fried food and deep oily food every day, then that the person grows up will be fat. But if the person in childhood has a lot of ghee, which is supposed to be good, not fried, but maybe, in some
Ma'am,
good
but I
form.
don't understand why ghee is good for health. Ma'am, isn't it supposed to have a lot of fats in it?
No, fat is of two kinds, good fat and bad fat. Good fat and bad fat. Good fat is unsaturated fat. Bad fat is, you know, unsaturated fat. Good fat is saturated fat. So ghee has a
Ma'am,
lot
can
of
you
good
give a
fat.
few examples of saturated and unsaturated fat?
Peanut.
Can I
Peanut
give
oil.
an example of saturated fat?
Yeah, dalda is bad.
Ma'am, so if most of us have Domino's pizzas, so ma'am, there was a video like that cheese they use has a lot of saturated fat which blocks the arteries. And ma'am, also,
Yes, ma'am. Characteristics of the living organisms. Respiration. All living things respire. That is, they take in or breathe in oxygen from the air and give out carbon dioxide. The oxygen is used to produce energy from the food consumed by the organisms. The energy thus produced is utilized